Okay, today I'm with Andy Glatz, Senior Managing Director and Head of SBA Lending at Peapack-Gladstone Bank. Good afternoon, Andy. And first question is how are you and how is your family doing?
Hi, Rich. Thanks for having me. Everybody is doing well. Family's well. We're just hunkered down here and waiting for all this to pass.
Yeah, I guess that's the most important thing, that we're all well, right?
Got that right.
Andy, can you give us a brief overview of Peapack-Gladstone Bank?
So Peapack-Gladstone Bank, we were founded in 1921. We're a New Jersey-based commercial bank, have approximately 5.2 billion in assets. We also have a wealth division of approximately 7.2 billion. Primarily, we're in Sussex County, Morris County. We also have regional offices in Princeton, which I work out of, and also Teaneck, New Jersey.
Okay. Now you're the head of SBA lending there. How long have you been involved with SBA lending?
I've been with PPAC for about 5 years. I've been in with doing SBA loans for approximately 25 years.
And we've worked a lot together in the past, haven't we?
We have worked a long time together and many years. You're right.
We might be called dinosaurs in this business,
Uh,
right?
we're still young at heart.
I imagine a good deal of your customers are small business owners, and many might be in the hospitality industry. Is that true?
That is true. So, the SBA, not just my program, but the SBA program nationwide, they they handle a lot of the restaurant industry, hospitality industry, and just by its nature, they fall under that SBA umbrella.
And is Peapack-Gladstone Bank, have they been in sync with the federal Paycheck Protection Program? And if so, how many applications do you think you've been able to process?
Well, Rich, it's good timing for the call. So we unfortunately the program has run out of money now, but I can give you some updates as far as what the bank's done and what we intend to do, and I'll give you a little insight on what I think will happen, next. So we approved, which I think is the biggest number. We approved about 900 loans for a little under $350 million, which
Wow.
is a tremendous number for a small New Jersey bank like ourselves. We're not a national lender. We didn't bring any third party IT services. What we basically did was retool the bank. We brought people in from other divisions and other areas of the bank to make sure that we serviced all our existing customers, and we tried to do the best job we could. And we were running pretty much 24/7. And we had, believe it or not, we had some night crews going. We wanted to make sure that we knew this day would come. We knew there was a limited amount of funding available. We wanted to make sure we got all our customers. And the reason to that, people didn't understand. They felt that banks only wanted to deal with their own customers for a reason. Now, behind the scenes, we're still required to do background, BSA, KYC, know your customer, and the timing wouldn't enable us to bring in outside customers. It made it very difficult. So even the SBA said when they rolled this out, they relaxed some of the requirements if we use our own customers, which we had to do. So we were turning these things around a lot quicker. So that enabled us to approve 900 loans for 350 million. We probably have about, I think, in total 2,000 applications. And although I said the funds are exhausted right now, we do think they're going to replenish them. I don't know, give or take, when the politicians figure it out, a week or two. We have these other ones teed up. We're going to get back into the program. We think it's a great program to assist, not just for the bank. The bank's really, we're looking, not like the healthcare people, but we're on the front line too. We're doing our share to assist these small businesses as best we can. Big, small, across the board. We have some larger entities with 100 employees, 200 employees. We also have the small mom and pop shop that, husband and wife and 2 employees. So, whatever the business is, it's important to them. And, we try to, assist as best we can to that business.
So just to clarify, that $350 million that your bank placed was only for your customers, correct?
Correct.
Well, that's, the effort that you put forth with the night crew, bringing people in, that seems like, to me, like a bank that really cares about taking care of their customers' needs.
Rich, you're right. And we had conversations. I've been on more Zoom meetings than I care to say, but the bank is very active in donations and charity. So we said, all right, since we're all locked up at home, this is what we need to do. This is how we need to assist our customers. Instead of donating time and services, this is how we're going to, we're thankful that we are employed. We're thankful that we have a job, so we need to give back a little bit. So everybody, we had branch people, we had servicing people, administrative people. We retooled the bank, and it was definitely a bank effort from the top down.
That's terrific. You've been with the SBA a long time. You just told us that. What other federal or state programs besides the Paycheck Protection Program may be available to help small businesses?
The SBA disaster relief, the EIDL, and the New Jersey EDA program. These aren't bank funded; they're bank assisted. We can work with the people, but they're best would be to go to the website for the EDA or to the New Jersey for the SBA.gov. The applicant would submit directly through them. A little bit of a confusion. Customer thinks they go right to the bank. Now, these are programs that are set up directly through the SBA or the EDA. And I'll elaborate a little bit on that. The SBA disaster relief, an example would be, which we can relate to when Hurricane Sandy hit. They were the organization that assisted the small business, not the banks. We can give some guidance, we can help with an application, but we don't do the funding. That's funded directly through the government. And those two would be the primary. Right now the big one was the PPP through the SBA. Everybody wanted the forgiveness loan. Everybody was, and that is, so now that that's exhausted, these other two I think will be a little more active.
You think it was going back to the Paycheck Protection Program, and you mentioned forgiveness. Do you think that forgiveness is really going to take place at the end of these loans, or do you think that most of these loans will just roll into loans for what I understand is a 2-year period?
Good question. From what we've seen, although we didn't do an extensive underwriting, we made sure that we had it along with the application. We had supporting payroll documentation, whether it was 940, 941, ADP, payroll, just by looking at it. And we made sure that the customer understood, you're signing this and you better be able to support the employee backup on this when the time comes for forgiveness. Initially, I thought we'd have more concern, but everyone that we had the backup. And the idea behind it is that they're going to keep those employees on through June 30th and then look for the forgiveness. We have some, sure, but I think for the most part, it's going to go for the purposes that it was intended.
And am I correct? If it's not forgiven, it turns into a 2-year loan. Is that the term?
That's correct. So there's 6 months, no payments, 6 months, no payments, no interest, no nothing. So it'll convert then to a 2-year amortizing loan. Just from doing this long enough and being around some of the larger loans, that's a pretty aggressive amortization. I think SBA may come back and say, or SBA/Treasury and say, as long as you're agreeing to pay, maybe we'll extend it. Maybe we'll rewrite the loan, or maybe we'll, I think the intent was there. I think they had a hard time trying to put the program together in such a quick time.
Okay, very good. Now this is more of a forecasted question, Andy. The U.S. almost certainly will descend into a substantial recession in the second quarter. And while banks, including Peapack-Gladstone, are well capitalized and capable of absorbing near-term losses, this pandemic could overwhelm lenders if the economy struggles beyond this year. Your thoughts on that?
Good question on that, and I'll speak for the bank, and these comes up all the time, that the bank, so we like to think the bank has a well-diversified business model. Bank has strong levels of capital and liquidity. We have investment grade ratings from Moody and other rating agencies. So we like to think that given the bank's strong financial profile, we should be well positioned to, support our clients and future clients through this crisis and, unfortunately other crises. And to back up the recession of 2008, bad thing, but I think it was a good thing. It made banks, our liquidity ratios are much better than they used to be. Our requirements are a lot stronger than they used to be. So the bank is, very solid. We're well positioned. We're okay. We'll get through this, and we'll be fine to assist our customers in the future.
Yeah, you mentioned 2008 and the banking crisis there. What do you think the banking lending landscape coming out of this crisis is going to look like?
That's you hate to say that, that's to be seen, but I think it's going to be challenging, to be honest. And I think these programs, whether it's especially, I think SBA, EDA, some of the other ones out there, are going to be more heavily looked upon, because conventional banks, even like Peapack, we're going to look at debt service, loan to values, covenants. And I think this, you're going to look at financials for this year, and they're going to be challenging.
Mhm.
So that people are going to be, that they may not hit those required debt service numbers that the banks are going to be looking for. So they're going to look for either the SBA or other agencies to try to assist them to get them through their times of need.
Given all the money that the government is pumping out now through the SBA to try to help small businesses and the like, do you think coming out of this, there's going to be a shortage of government funds for future lending?
That's come up a lot. And I think just based on this now with the paycheck protection running out, they're going to replenish it. I think they know that they're, they'll put their political hats aside and find a way to get the funds out there to the businesses. Prior to this crisis, economy was running strong. Everybody was, happy, and then they got to find a way to bring it back to where it was. So I think they'll do the necessary, put the necessary in place there where they get the funding that's needed. I'm trying to, because this did come up, and everybody's worried about that. The SBA is vital. They have to find a way to fund it. Each year comes up that they need the funding is challenged. It becomes more of a political thing, and it's unfortunate. But the amount of businesses that are helped each year, and I'm going to jump around a little bit. With the PPP, I think it was to date as of yesterday, they did 14. What the heck was it? 14,000 loans. Or no, sorry, it was like 14 years worth of loans, 14 years worth of loans in 14 days.
Wow.
And it was an amazing number. And that shows be surprised what they can do. So that's back to your point. It becomes a political thing. They can't. You'd be surprised what they can do. I think they're going to need to, based on, what I said earlier, that not just our bank, any bank's going to be a little more challenged to get these things done conventionally and find the financing for customers conventionally. They're going to be relying more upon these, SBA, New Jersey EDA programs.
Very good. Thank you for that answer. Personally, Andy, and I guess personally as a father and as a banker, what has been your biggest challenge during this crisis?
And that's a good one there. Well, let's see. We'll start with one. Trying to find space in the house to do meetings, and Zoom meetings. Everybody having kids home from college, and everybody's jockeying around doing online classes. And this room is noisy. This room is not. So it's most important. Everybody's healthy. It's just and in a crazy way though. Everybody's healthy. You almost you seem to spend more time with your family that in a busy life that we're used to. Everybody's running different directions. So now you're sort of forced to talk, forced to spend more time, and so that's a good thing as well.
Yeah, that's good. There's always a silver lining that comes out of these black clouds, right?
Right.
I guess this last question is, what advice, if any, would you like to share with your customers, or what would you like to say to your customers?
Well, hang in there. Hang in there for the ones that did receive, some financing that they requested. Stay on top of the bank, the lender, the organization, whatever it is. For the ones who didn't, also hang in there. I feel strongly there's going to be more financing behind it. I would say be prepared. What that means is have your application, look over it twice, look over it 3 times. Make sure. And the reason I say that is the banks, not only my bank, but any bank, they're going to get these applications in by the hundreds, by the thousands. So if something's spelled wrong, your tax ID number's wrong, you didn't sign it, you forgot to sign it, everybody's anxious, and during these times, give it another look over. Make sure it's done properly. So when things are open, everything is done. It goes through smoothly. You're ready to answer any questions. If they ask about employees, make sure you have your employees' numbers and the backup to support it to send in. You may want to have an email ready. Have it prepared. And that's just answer the questions. Make sure your email is legible on your application. Make sure your cell phone, make sure that all your points of contact are there. Then in case they need to reach you, what you don't want to do is get put back in the queue that says, yeah, we're working on you. You want to make sure, and not to be, over, too, I'm trying to think of the word here, but follow up. At this point, you can't be too persistent. You don't want to be too, be a pain in the neck, but follow up too. You want to, if you have different levels, either a business banker, a commercial lender, a branch manager that can maybe be an advocate for you, follow up. That's, you want to, because this is your business, this is your livelihood. You want to make sure that, you're able to do, you get the funding that you deserve.
Well, Andy, look, I know you're very busy. I appreciate you taking this time. I thank you for giving us this interview. I hope this all ends very soon for you, for your bank, for all business owners, and for all of America. So keep the faith, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Rich. Talk to you soon. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye now, Andy.